Okay, welcome to this explainer. Today, we are decoding the Cambridge AS and A-level computer science syllabus, specifically focusing on the 9618 paper. We're going to master the DBMS Tools Developer Interface, but we're not just going to recite facts today. Think of top-tier exam strategy like casting a magic spell. It is not about wild random waving of your wand. It's about using a very specific structural framework. Cast the right spell and you unlock maximum marks. Cast the wrong one and, well, your grade vanishes. We're going to look at the exact strategies that turn average run-of-the-mill answers into top-tier, mark-winning responses that examiners absolutely love to see.
So, you've got to ask yourself, why do top students, students who know their textbooks inside and out, backwards and forwards, why they still lose easy marks on developer interface questions? It's actually a classic trap set by examiners, and I see it all the time. Take two hypothetical students. Let's call them Alex and Sam. Now, Alex knows every single definition in the syllabus. But in the exam, Alex overloads his answers with raw computer science facts and completely forgets to include any actual analysis. 0 marks for context. Then you have Sam. Sam is super smart but rushes through the paper and completely misses the command word requirements. The question says evaluate, and Sam just describes. Bam, more marks lost. Today, we are going to learn exactly how to dodge those traps and fix those flawed answers using insights straight from the principal examiner reports.
Here is our roadmap for today's session. We'll start with core principles, move into the procedural framework, then tackle evaluating algorithms, and wrap it all up with the top examiner alerts. Let's jump right in.
Part 1. Mastering core DBMS principles. This is the theoretical architecture you need to build upon.
Listen, examiners aren't just looking at what you've passively memorized. They don't just want a human dictionary. They are actively grading you across 4 specific cognitive domains: knowledge, understanding, application, and analysis. This is where our friend Alex goes wrong. He maxes out on knowledge, but completely drops the ball on application and analysis. Top-performing students don't just regurgitate definitions. They exhibit a connected, conceptual understanding. They take the command words seriously. When they're asked to analyze a DBMS developer interface, they can seamlessly transfer their logic from a familiar school library schema they practiced in class directly into a complex, unfamiliar airline reservation system on the exam paper. That is the level of agility you need to demonstrate.
The winning formula here is actually incredibly simple, but so few students do it. Cross-topic connections equals significantly higher marks. Principal examiner reports explicitly highlight that candidates who transfer their knowledge to unfamiliar contexts and link their developer interface answers to entirely different syllabus areas, like data security protocols or network architecture, are the ones who get the top grades. You want to show the examiner you see the whole matrix, not just one line of code. Now, before we continue and look at the actual procedural framework to achieve this, subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now. It's the best way to make sure you're always ahead of the curve.
Moving on to Part 2, the procedural framework. This is all about the method mark strategy.
When you're staring down a brutal exam question, panic is not an option. You need a reliable, step-by-step system. First, deconstruct the question. What is the command word? Second, extract the relevant data from the scenario. Third, select your analytical framework. For computer science, this is where you apply the Peel framework: point, evidence, explanation, link. Fourth, execute your answer with incredibly clear notation. And finally, present it with the correct, syllabus-approved terminology. This 5-step process is a literal game changer. If we go back to our students, if Alex and Sam used this system, their red pen-marked papers would transform into green check marks. Why? Because this framework guarantees you pick up method marks for your thought process, even if your final SQL query or Python script has a minor syntax error. You are proving your logic to the examiner.
Practical application when dealing with the developer interface is truly a continuous journey. You have to design the algorithms, implement the solutions, test them thoroughly, and finally evaluate their performance. Think of this as the computer science success blueprint. You're telling a visual story of your data interpretation skills. You're showing the examiner exactly how you extract raw records from a relational table, how you perform complex aggregate calculations, and how you draw solid, evidence-based conclusions. You're not just writing code, you're engineering a solution.
Part 3. Evaluating algorithm quality, where we demonstrate critical analysis. But hey, stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the exams at uw2x0tic to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to uw2x0tic and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions. Okay, let's get into the analysis.
I want you to treat this like an interactive workshop. Imagine a 60-second timer on the screen right now. Scan this data. When evaluating algorithm quality, examiners expect you to identify these exact metrics. You can't just say an algorithm is good or bad. You have to look at time complexity and its real-world performance impact. For instance, explaining how a linear search will completely choke and slow down a massive enterprise-level customer database, compared to a highly efficient binary search. You have to evaluate space complexity and how it hits memory usage and storage limits. And absolutely crucially, you must analyze edge cases. How does your system handle null values? What happens if a user inputs an empty string into a developer interface field? Mentioning edge cases proves to the examiner that you care about system stability and accuracy, not just theoretical perfection.
Let's do another quick challenge. Find the flaw in this kind of thinking. I chose this algorithm because it's the fastest, end of story. The flaw is that it lacks nuance. Top-scoring candidates don't just write code and drop the mic. They demonstrate high-level evaluative thinking. They always consider multiple solutions to a database problem. They rigorously analyze the trade-offs. Maybe one approach is faster but eats up way more memory. They actively acknowledge the limitations of their chosen data structures. And most importantly, they justify every single decision with hard, undeniable evidence from the scenario provided. That is how you secure the absolute top bracket of marks.
Part 4. Top Examiner Alerts. This is all about avoiding the massive, grade-destroying traps. I cannot emphasize this enough. Look at this warning. According to the Principal Examiner reports, a huge percentage of candidates lose points on application questions simply because they refuse to contextualize their answers. Generic answers scores 0 marks. Let me repeat that, 0 marks. It literally does not matter if you wrote a perfectly accurate, beautifully worded textbook definition of a composite primary key. If the question gives you a scenario about a veterinary clinic and you don't mention the pets, the owners, or the appointments, your score absolutely tanks. Examiners flag this as the most common fatal error year after year after year.
There is a massive, incredibly distinct divide in how students approach their answers. On one side, you have the generic textbook answer. It's factually correct, sure, but completely irrelevant to the problem at hand. On the other side, you have the scenario-specific contextual answer. Let's do a speed writing challenge in your head right now. You have 30 seconds. If the exam question is about optimizing a hospital database interface, your Peel paragraph better explicitly mention patient IDs, attending doctors, and admission dates. You make your quite about optimization, you provide evidence using the hospital data, you explain how it improves query times for the medical staff, and you link it back to the specific needs of the hospital ward. That is how you win. So, to summarize the complete system, here are the top 3 fatal errors straight from the people grading your papers. Mistake number 1. Using the wrong formula or algorithm for the specific context of the question. Mistake number 2, forgetting to check boundary conditions and edge cases during your testing and evaluation phase. And mistake number 3, the biggest one we just hammered home, providing answers that are not specific to the question scenario. You need to decode the command words, apply the Peel framework, and manage your time so you can actively scan your own answers for these 3 specific errors before you ever turn the page. Always link every point to the given scenario. I want you to burn this golden rule from the Principal Examiner report into your memory right now. If you make this your ultimate exam mantra, you will never drop those easy application marks again. Every single point must connect back to the prompt. And listen, the data backs this up. Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos. So as you head into your exam prep, I want you to ask yourself this: are you just memorizing code, or are you building a structural framework? The next time you sit down for a practice paper, don't just write an answer, strategically prove your methodology. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at uw2x0tic to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to @uw2x0tic and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams, your Cambridge success starts here.